Hello students. In this video tutorial, I'm going to discuss case study question of 2020 O-level paper. This is paper 2, question number 1, compulsory question. Right. First, let's read out all the business studies questions. After that, let's read the case study. Okay? Right. Let's go through business studies questions first of all. What is the basic human need satisfied by Cyrillac products? Right, let's find out the basic need when we read the case. State how Cyrillac products fulfills the basic human need that you mentioned in above Roman figure 1a. Okay, state how, right? How the business fulfills. Okay, let's find out. Then write an example for each of the following production factors, right? That means factors of production related to lunch boxes, right? Lunch boxes produced by Cyrillac products. To provide the answers, use the table similar to one given below, right? Next one, write a strength and an opportunity of Cyrillac products. Then write 2 examples for private sector businesses in the above case. Okay. And we have one more business studies questions. Now, when it comes to case study questions, you are getting 4 business studies questions. 8 marks there. Using the Cyrillac products business, write an example each, right? Product and price. Write an example for each product and price, which are the variables of marketing mix. Okay. Then write an example for each planning and organizing. An example for planning and organizing from the above case. Right. Now let's read our case. Okay. Siri, a graduate of environmental management, decided to produce lunch boxes. Right now, this is the product of this business, lunch boxes. Using fallen arecanut leaf sheets of his father's large arecanut estate. Okay. He started a business with his sister Lakmini as Cyrillac products on when 1st of March 2020 to produce lunch boxes by collecting, cleaning, dyeing, and processing the fallen arecanut leaf sheets in the arecanut state, right? And recruited required employees. Now, if you remember the business studies questions, right? Now, up to here, we have found some certain answers for certain questions, isn't it? Right? Now, especially this sentence, recruited required employees. This is the exact example for organizing, right? Organizing. Okay. Especially, notice this. Now, this is the date that this business started, right? This is the date, right? The starting date of the business, right? And he has started this business with his sister Lakmini, right? Seems like this is a partnership then. Let's see, right? We need to, read further, right? Then it says The business was started by employing 50,000 each from Siri and Lakmini. And now it is obvious that Lakmini is one of the owners of this business. So definitely this business is a partnership. There are two partners, Siri and his sister Lakmini, right? So this is actually your first transaction in this business, right? It is the first transaction of this business. So better to highlight it and quantify it, right? This is number one transaction in the passage. Okay. Right. Now, how much is the total capital now? Is it 50,000 rupees? No. There are two partners here. So this has to be 50,000 each. That means 50,000 times 2. That means it's 100,000. So it's better if you write the total capital here when you read. Otherwise, you might forget. And you will record 50,000 as capital in accounting questions. Okay? Right. Next, the small lorry of 300,000 rupees belongs to Siri. Right? Now, this lorry is a personal vehicle of Siri. And now it is invested as a capital to this business. It is invested as capital to this business. Okay. Right. Now, this is actually the next transaction. Small lorry of 300,000 and it's Siri's private vehicle and it was employed as capital, right? On the same day. So the first transaction and the second transaction happened on the first day itself. So when you find, right, transactions happened on the starting date of the business, you need to circle it. You will understand why we circle, right? Because actually, I'll tell you when we write answers, okay? Right. Let's, let me tell you why I circled these. Circled, right? Okay. Then, following are the transactions related to production. Now, notice this, production of lunch boxes for the month of March. So, you're given data for a specific month here. That month is March, right? And these transactions specifically, these ones are related to production of lunch boxes. So again, there is another sentence saying, following are the transactions related to distribution of products. So these are distribution costs for the month of March. There are 3 costs, right? Right. Then again, there is a paragraph. Let's read and see. Lunch boxes are distributed to supermarkets on credit basis. During the month of March, 600 lunch boxes were produced, right? And all were distributed at 200 each, subject to 10% trade discount. So these are important information. You should highlight them, right? Normally I use yellow color to highlight transactions and transaction related information. Right. Then again, we have a 2 other sentences. The remaining stock, right? It says remaining stock of processing, fixing, and detergent materials of lunch boxes. So this remaining stock is the remaining stock of materials, right? Materials. Right. Now, can you see here? It says purchases of fixing, processing, fixing, and detergent materials of lunch boxes. So the same words are here, right? Can you see? So these materials remain in stock is there. Okay. And as at 31st of March, that means as at the end of the month, the remaining stock is this much, 7,000 rupees. Okay. So we have a closing stock of materials here. Did you notice it? Right? Right. Then next, there's another sentence. The demand for Cyrillac products is increasing with the decision of government to prohibit polythene and plastic lunch boxes. Now, if you remember, one of the questions asked to write an example for opportunity. So this is our opportunity, right? Okay. And also the strength of the business. We have a strength of the business here, strength. Siri being a graduate of environmental management, right? So that means Siri has a degree, right? He's qualified. The honor is one of the honors is qualified, right? So this is a strength. Right, now let's start writing answers for the business studies questions. Right, the first question is write the basic need, the basic human need. Right, now for here, you know the product is lunchbox, right? It's a lunchbox. So the closest need should be food, right? It's food. Okay, next one. State how Cyrillac products fulfills the basic need that we mentioned. So you can say by producing, right? And also selling, right? By producing lunch boxes. Okay, right. So you know how the marks are given for a case study. This is for each question, 2 marks are allocated. So in this question, we have part A and B. So for A, you get 1 mark. For B, you get another mark, right? So 2 marks for Roman figure 1. Right, next one. Write an example for each of, yes. Yeah, you have to find out the examples for these 2 factors of production. Now for land. So what is land actually? Before deciding on the examples, you have to, understand what the product is. Obviously, it's lunch boxes. The product is lunch box, right? It's a lunch box. So to produce a lunch box, in this case, the land factor means the natural resources used to produce lunch boxes. So obviously, we see that this is an eco-friendly product and it is made out of arecanut leaf sheets. So we can write these words, arecanut leaf sheets. Right, now what about the capital factor? Now, capital means actually the man-made resources used to produce the product. Now, this product is a lunchbox. So to produce lunch boxes, the man-made resources used. Right, now from the case, you had to find an example, right? An example, right? So let's find out man-made resources used to produce lunch boxes here. Yes, you see that there is molds, the molds, right? Molds of lunch boxes. So this is a man-made resource, right? This is capital. And actually, these detergent materials again. Now, what about this small lorry? Can you write as an example for capital? Actually, now this lorry is used to distribute the produced products, the produced lunch boxes, not to produce the lunch boxes. So in this case, Actually, you should not take the lorry as an example for capital. So you have to be mindful. Okay. Lorry is used for distribution, actually, distribution purposes. Anyhow, you can write processing, fixing, and detergent materials as an example for capital. Or there is a very good example, the molds of lunch boxes, or just molds, right? So let's write the complete word, molds of lunch boxes. So I'm writing this one, right? Or even this one is okay, because you know, these processing, mixing, and detergent, these materials are man-made. Right, molds of lunch boxes. Now I'm writing on the paper itself. Now, when you write, you need to copy this table into your answer sheet and, you know, start writing the examples. Okay, molds of lunch boxes. Right, next question is write a strength and an opportunity. So when you write this, write the answer for this question, you have to put headings, right? You have to say strength, dash, and then you have to write your strength. So you can say Siri. What are the words? Siri is a graduate of environmental management. Siri is a graduate of environmental management. And if you want, you can say therefore qualified honor, but not that necessary. But better if you can write like that. But I'm writing the exact words from the case. I just wrote the exact words from the case. And then you have to write the opportunity. And what's the opportunity? We found out this opportunity, government to prohibit polythene and plastic lunch boxes. Okay, let's write the exact words, right? Or you can start writing from the word decision. Decision of the government to prohibit polythene and plastic lunch boxes. So this is the answer for Roman figure 3A. Right. There's another question. Now, when you're getting marks, you're given half marks for the strength and another half mark for the opportunity, right? And then next on B, write 2 examples for private sector businesses. Now, this Cyrillac products is a private sector business and it is a partnership. Partnerships are private sector businesses. So you can easily write number 1, first, you know, private sector business is Cyrillac products. If you want, you may write business also. Now, what's the other business? Now, when you check the case study, you will find out the lunch boxes are distributed to supermarkets. So even supermarkets, you can write as a private sector business, right? Because supermarkets are normally do not belong to the government sector. Supermarkets. Okay, these are the private sector businesses, 1 and 2, right? The next question, using the Cyrillac products business, write an example for product and price, right? For A, Roman figure for A, we can write for the product, always write your answer with headings because you are asked to provide 2 answers for 2 separate questions, right? The product and the price under 1 question. Okay, 2 separate answers for 2 separate things under 1 question. Right. So you need to put headings and present your answer. Right. So for the product, what's the example? You can write example on top and say the product name. It's lunch boxes. You can say lunch boxes or lunch box. Let's write in plural. Then for the price, you can mention, did you notice this? You should, find out the answers when you read the case. It says 10% trade discount is given. 10% trade discount is given, right? And also as the listed price, you can mention 200 rupees. So this is the price of lunchbox. Listed price 200 rupees. And also you can write as another example 10% trade discount. Now, do you remember two instruments under price are the listed price and the discounts, right? So I just wrote two examples. You can write the trade discount or the listed price, the price of the product, right? And for B, you need to provide an example each for planning and organizing. Right. Now, did you find the example for planning? Now here it says decided, right? Decided to produce lunch boxes. Siri decided to produce lunch boxes. So this is a decision. That means a plan. So this means planning. So planning. Siri decided to produce lunch boxes. That's the example from the case. And for organizing, we already found it. It's recruiting required employees. Let's see the exact words. Recruited required employees. Now, normally when employees are recruited, we can write that as an example for organizing. Right now, if you want, you can, instead of Siri, you can just write deciding to produce lunch boxes, right? Like this, just remove Siri and you can write like this, deciding in ing form, deciding to produce lunch boxes. So similarly, here you can write recruiting required employees. Okay, right. And not only recruiting employees, you can write for organizing, you can write purchasing any asset to produce the product, right? You can write as an example. Now, if you go through the transactions, purchasing molds of lunch boxes, right? That is actually an example for organizing. But already we have written a very good example, recruiting employees. Right, this is our first accounting question. What is the capital of Cyrillac products as at this day? Right, now this is the starting day, isn't it? The first day of the month, the first day of the business, right? And you're supposed to find the capital. So do you remember we highlighted this? We found out the capital using cash. It's 100,000, and there is a lorry also. This is also is considered as a capital item. So this 300,000 also your capital value. So 100,000 plus 300,000, 400,000. So always try to present your answer with actually with a step, right? With a method, right? So let's write like this. You can write rupees, right? 100,000 cash plus 300,000 worth of lorry equals 400,000. And this is your answer, final answer. So let's write, let's draw double lines for the answer, right? What is B now? Right. Two assets, right? Two assets of Cyrillac products as at 1st of March. They don't ask a value, so you can just mention the asset names. Two assets of Cyrillac products as at 1st of March. Now, again, you have to consider the transactions happened on 1st of March. Now, do you remember that we circled the transactions happened on the 1st of March? Now, this is the reason why I circled, because normally you are getting a question under accounting as at 1st of March or whatever the month, right? So once you circle it, you can easily find the transactions happened on the very first day, right? So here we need to write two assets. So definitely you can write cash and this lorry. Now, even in the marking scheme, they have mentioned the lorry. No need to say motor vehicles, right? So you can write two assets. Number one, cash, right? Number two, lorry, right? Always quantify your answer. So two assets. We wrote two assets, right? Next question. Roman figure 6. Write the double entry with values to record sales of the month of March 2020 for Cyrillac products. Right. Now, for us to write a double entry, we need a value, right? So what's the value of total sales for the month of March? You need to find it, right? So let's go through our case and find the total sales for the month of March. Right, now it says 600 lunch boxes were produced and also distributed at 200 each. 200 were produced and all were distributed. So number of lunch boxes distributed is also 600. So what's the total sales? 600 times 200 rupees, right? And also don't forget the 10% trade discount. To find out the net sales, you need to take off 10% from 600 times 200. Okay, right. So let's do a working here. Now, no need to show the working in your paper. If you want, you may, right? But not necessary. So anyhow, I'm going to write the working on the, the right side of the paper, working, right? So this is the working that you're going to do. Yeah, the total, the sales amount is actually, all sales are credit basis, no? So credit sales amount, right? Credit sales, I'll write just sales here. The sales amount is 600 boxes times 200 each. And how much? It's 12,000. Sorry, it should be 120,000 rupees. Right? Now you are not going to record this value because these sales were done subject to a trade discount of 10%. So you need to take off 10% from 120,000. So what's the value of 10%? 10% of 120,000. It's 12,000, right? So when you deduct 12,000 from, right, 120,000, you get 108,000. So this is our net sales. Let me write net sales. This value only we record in our accounting books. So for this value only we do the double entry. So what's the double entry of a credit sale now? These are credit sales, okay? These are credit sales and this is the net credit sales, right? So let's write. Do you remember the double entry? We need to credit the sales account and debit which account? The debtors account, right? The debtors account. Debtors account debit dr dot rupees 108,000. And then sales account. Sales account credit 108,000. So this is our double entry, right? Then next one, write a prime entry book used in Cyrillic products. Just only one prime entry book. So easily you can say the cash book. But anyhow, shall we find all the prime entry books in this case? Now, if you go through the transactions, now most of these transactions are cash transactions, basically cash receipts and payments. Now, if you take this transaction, this one, this is a cash payment in cash. It's a cash payment. The next one also cash payment, paying wages. Electricity bill, cash payment. Cost paid for molds, cash payment. Molds of the lunch boxes should be depreciated. Now, the depreciation is an adjustment and we normally record in the general journal. So because of this depreciation, and here also we have depreciation, the distribution lorry should be depreciated 20% annually. So because of these depreciation details, we can write general journal as a prime entry book. And also, all the sales were happened on credit basis. So that means you can take sales journal, right? Sales journal. So you have 3 prime entry books. So I'm going to write all 3. In the exam, writing one, book is enough, right? Don't write any, doubtful books. If you feel doubtful with your answer, don't write it. Write a straight, very good answer, right? Obvious answer, right? So that is actually cash book, right? Anyhow, I'll write the others also. General journal and sales journal. Right, next question. Write transaction for the prime entry book that you mentioned in Roman figure 7a. Right. Now here actually you write only one book. So you can straight away write a transaction that you can record in that book. Right. Let's say you wrote cash book. Then write just a cash transaction from the case. So let's say I wrote just cash book. Then I'm going to write one of the cash transactions. Definitely the first transaction is a cash transaction. So I can say employing or investing capital and the total value is 100,000. So I write that, right? Investing or employing, investing 100,000 rupees. And I write as capital as well, as capital. Or any other cash transaction in the passage. Right, next question is calculate the cost of a lunchbox produced for the month of March. Right, for this you need to find out the production cost of the total production cost of a lunchbox. Now, under this section, you are specifically given the transactions related to production cost. Now this first one is purchases of processing, fixing and detergent materials. So this is your material cost, right? Then you have wages of the lunchbox maker, and this is the direct labor cost. This is direct material cost, right? Now no need to say direct or indirect here. Just list out all the production related cost and find out the total cost, right? Because you are not asked to prepare the production cost statement here. So in the production cost statement, normally we classify the cost into direct, indirect, and prime cost and production overhead cost. But here you just show them the list and show the total production cost. I write material cost. Now, how much is the material cost? It says here 18,000, right? Here we have 18,000. So do you record 18,000 now? No. Don't forget, there is a remaining stock. And we highlighted that, right here. Remaining stock of processing, fixing and detergent materials, same words, right? Is as at 31st of March, 7,000 rupees. So you need to take off, reduce 7,000 from this 18,000. And 11,000 only you are going to record here. So know how to deal with a remaining stock of materials. When you have a remaining stock of materials, this is how you record, right? Deduct the remaining stock. It's now you have to record 11,000. Then you have wages, or you can say wages for the lunchbox maker. I'll write here just wages, right? And it's 20,000. Then in the list we have, what do we have? The electricity bill. So let's write electricity charges, and it's right. Now here, did you notice? We have to read very well, right? The electricity for the month March not paid as at 31st. So that means this 4,000 is an accrued electricity charges. This is accrued electricity charges, right? Right. Even though this is an accrued electricity charges amount, they say clearly these transactions related to the cost of lunch boxes. So let's allocate this electricity charges into the production cost. Okay. So electricity charges, it's 4,000. And then the cost of moles. Now, do you allocate cost of moles as a production cost? No, remember, now here this moles become a non-current asset. How can we say the moles are non-current assets? Because it says that these are depreciated, right? So non-current assets are normally depreciated, right? So the purchase of a non-current asset is not regarded as a cost, right? So you should not record this 30,000. Remember it. But you need this value to calculate the depreciation, right? Anyhow, the depreciation value is given. So the next cost is actually depreciation of moles. And it is 1,000, right? So let's add these. Now we get the total production cost. Total production cost. How much? 36,000, right? 36,000. Okay. And how many units are produced? It says 600 lunch boxes are produced. So simply you can divide 36,000 by 600 and show them the cost of a lunchbox, right? So let's write cost of a lunchbox, right? And it is 60 rupees, right? 60 rupees. Okay, next question. Calculate the net profit or the loss for the month of March. Right, for this we need to draw a table and we are going to show the income of the business as well as the expenses of the business for the month of March. And then we find the net profit or the loss, right? So just draw a simple table like this. No need to write any titles, right? We have to have 2 columns. And rupees here, right? So we have to have 2 headings. The income, normally we have sales as the income, right? And less expenses. Right. So how much is our sales? The main income is sales. So you can mention the sales value. And sales is the only income in this business. Actually, we found the sales income here. It's 108,000, right? So let's write 108,000 and then less expenses. Now, what's the main expense in this business? That is actually production cost, right? The cost incurred in producing the product for the month of March, right? The production cost for the month of March is, we found out, it's 36,000. Okay. And then you can write the rest of the expenses, right? Now, in the production cost, sorry, this should be production, not product. Let's correct it. Production cost. Now, except the production cost, let's find out the other expenses. You can take the distribution cost of this business. Drivers' wages, fuel and maintenance, right? And also lorry depreciation, right? Let's record drivers' wages. It's 30,000, right? And then fuel and maintenance, right? I don't have the space here, so I just wrote just him, right? Fuel and maintenance expenses, right? Expenses, EXP. And it is 20,000, right? And then we have the depreciation of lorry, depreciation of lorry, right? And it is how much? We need to calculate. First, we need to find out the cost of the lorry. It is given as 300,000. So now we need to calculate 20% of 300,000. That is annual depreciation, right? And then you have to convert into a monthly depreciation amount. So simply you can multiply by 1/12. Right. So how much do you get? You get 5,000 as the monthly depreciation of the distribution lorry, right? Or just lorry. So remember, a case is given for a specific month, and sometimes they give percentages as an annual figure. Normally, the percentage amount is for a year. So you need to convert into a monthly figure, especially depreciation, sometimes bank loan interest, right? So make sure to convert into a monthly figure. So this is 5,000. I think we have recorded all the expenses, right? Now double check and see, right? So we can take the total of expenses. How much? 91,000, right? So you need to deduct these expenses from sales, from the income, total income, right? Then you get your profit or loss. Obviously, income is greater than expenses, so we can call it as a net profit. How much is the net profit? 7 over here, 1. 17,000 rupees. Okay, it's 17,000 rupees. Okay, now it's the last question. Write separately the total value of equity, right? Equity, the total value of equity and the total value of liabilities. Okay, so you need to find two values here. Let's write total equity, right, equals. Now you need to add the net profit to the capital amount. The capital amount is 400,000. Do you remember? As at 1st of March, by adding the cash amount and the lorry, the value of the lorry, 400,000. For this, you need to add the net profit, which is 17,000, right? So the value becomes 417,000. Then the total liabilities. Now there is no bank loan in this business, no creditors in this business, no bank overdraft, but we have only an accrued electricity charge amount. That is actually only 4,000 rupees. So this 4,000 is our accrued electricity charges amount. Do you remember? So it's only 4,000. Right, let me tell you the marking scheme. I've given 1 mark for this and 1 mark for the equity amount, right? And on the above, to find out the net profit, half marks for sales figure, right? Half marks for sales figure. Then final answer, obviously half mark. And then they have given marks for, actually 1 mark for these items, right? The expenses. So 2 marks, okay? 2 marks. Then Roman figure 8, 1 mark for the final answer, right? Here, final answer 60 rupees and 36,000 half marks, 600,000 half marks. This is actually total cost divided by number of units produced, right? Again, 2 marks. Then performance figure 7, 1 mark for the prime entry book and 1 mark for the transaction. So 1 mark here and 1 mark for the transaction, right? And then in the double entry case, the double entry question, 1 mark for the debit entry, and normally that's how they give marks. 1 mark for the debit entry and 1 mark for the credit entry, right? Here also 1 mark for getting 400,000 as the capital. Here half mark for this another half mark. Now for this, methods, they give normally half marks. Anyhow, total marks 1 mark for 400,000. Right, that this is actually 2020 O-level case study. So always practice more case studies because case study questions are a little bit of difficult. So you need to have a good practice for this. Okay then students, see you in the next video.